Hello, good morning, happy Monday. Welcome back to the Mind Body Business Podcast. I'm Jane Bellante. I'm excited to be here today because I want to talk about blending nature and nervous system and energetics and embodiment today, because this is the core of what Mind Body Business means to me and how I am shifting my business a little bit to include more expansion. Let's just call it expansion. Okay, so it's blending nature, nervous system regulation, full energetics, and full embodiment. And this is understanding your identity at the very core level of you, who you're being. And you know that I always talk about that. And if you have invested in my programs, you understand now what I mean when I say who you're being. So, really understanding your identity and manifesting more of what you want in life instead of manifesting more of what you don't want in life. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome to the Mind Body Business Podcast. I'm your host, Jane Bellante. And this show is about what happens when you stop separating your life, your work, and your well-being and start leading all of it from truth. Each episode will explore the connection between your thoughts, your body, and your business so you can create a life and success that actually feels good. Let's get started. Good morning, Michelle. So I want to first talk about a couple of the things that I am doing or have done or in the process of. So I just got certified in ocean therapy, and I'm not all of a sudden a therapist. Okay. Why I wanted to get certified in ocean therapy is to understand how I can work with the ocean more to release, let go, and bring in more self-care. And I know that a lot of people, we love the ocean. Like, we just want to be by the ocean. We love the sound of the waves. We love the warmth. We love being, sitting as the waves are coming in and they're slowly washing over our body. Maybe we love to swim, snorkel, whatever. But I wanted to understand more of the physical ways that the ocean can help us slow the body down, perceive ourselves in a more truthful way, because when you're at the ocean, you sort of strip everything that is not real away. Like, that just falls away. We're not sitting and scrolling on our phones. And if you are, like, I really think you should put your phone down. Okay. We're not going over all of the things happening in our life over and over and over when we're at the ocean. The sea air is filled with, amazing electrolytes and molecules and things that are so good for our body. And the sound of the waves immediately takes our brain waves into a different state. So even if you're getting to the beach or at the ocean in a state of high beta where your brain is all over the place, like, oh, this and this and this, and you're ready for fight or flight, right? The second you get to the ocean, the waves, the sound of the waves, that frequency immediately slows us down. So the reason I got certified in ocean therapy is so that I can, I can use this in a way that integrates with my business. So with meditation, with art, with beautiful ritual, with some just amazingly beautiful ceremonial things to do together at my retreats. So ocean immediately changes the state of our bodies. And then I'm almost done, but I'm also doing forest therapy. And so if you know me, you know that I love I love hiking. I love being in the forest. I love being in any open outdoor space like prairie or whatever it is. But again, it shifts our perspective immediately. And we can, really connect with the earth. And so again, it's not going to be about like getting out there and hugging trees, although we might, but it really is just deeper connection with what's real and allowing ourselves to step away from what's not real, which is society and social media. We are all so addicted to it. Would you agree? If you are here live with me, tell me if you agree with that. So I'm going to be incorporating forest and ocean into a lot of the things that I do. And you know that I've always been about identity. And I'm really deepening that understanding of identity through physiology and environment and how our body actually adapts or does not adapt. Like, how easily can we let go and how much are we gripping? So instead of like shift your beliefs, which I still want you to do, it's understanding that our body has to feel safe enough to hold this new belief, right? And incorporating nature, getting ourselves out of our day-to-day environment where we repeat the same day over and over and over, like Groundhog's Day, right? Will help us shift our beliefs. It takes us out of the grind and it brings us into a more expansive arena so that we can understand who we're being when we're in our day-to-day lives. And how does our bodies feel? How do our bodies feel? And instead of just changing your attention, because you know that I say that and I believe in it wholeheartedly, it's just noticing where you place your attention changes the state of your nervous system. So if we're sitting in our day-to-day lives and we're scrolling, we're sitting inside of our businesses, we are, whatever it is that we do in our day-to-day life, we're hurrying, we're rushing, we're feeling behind, we're feeling like we're not good enough, we feel like we have to compare, we feel like we have to overthink everything. If your attention is on that, how does your nervous system feel? Right? That's rooted in the lack hole. It's rooted in fear. And so instead of just disrupting the pattern, which is a great thing to do, it really is about regulating the nervous system that keeps recreating the pattern so that you keep feeling that way. And understanding that our biology in our body is addicted to the feelings that keep us in an anxious state. And the more we pick up our phones, the more we keep scrolling, the more we keep comparing, the more we keep telling ourselves we're not good enough, we're sitting in this illusion. It's all an illusion. It's all fake. And all we do is try to push ourselves into the illusion more and more and more and more and more. And what I am understanding, and the reason why I'm studying and studying and studying, is because it's much more integrated than that. Nature is not separate from us. We are nature. And really, it's allowing ourselves to step back, step out of the illusion of social media, of forcing, of pushing, hustling, and stepping into something that is slower and more empowering. And it might feel disorienting because we don't have to perform. You step into nature, you step near the ocean, all the performance inside of you leaves. It's expansive. You're in awe, you know, if you allow yourself to truly be there and be in the present moment. There's less hype, and that energy of forcing starts to dissipate and it becomes magnetic. So if you are here, I would love to hear from you in the comments if this makes sense to you. Because when you understand that growth is physiological, like in the body, it's not just mental, it's expansion without feeling like super unstable. And the state of your nervous system matters more than your mindset, because mindset sits in that prefrontal cortex. It is the 5% of your thoughts come from here. And this is the reasoning brain, right? Well, that's reasonable. We talk about mindset, and this is why mindset doesn't change you, because you can have a positive mindset all you want, but if you're stuck in hustle, if you're stuck in comparing, if you're stuck in overthinking, if you're stuck in I have to be perfect every second of every day, you will never change. And if you don't take yourself out of your day-to-day reality to connect with what is actually real, you just keep going further and further and further down the path into that bottom of that black hole. And this is why nature is truly part of how transformation occurs. We are not separate from it. And really, when you allow yourself to be more of a part of that, you allow yourself to evolve without all of the chaos. When we're near the ocean, our breathing shifts. We start to actually, instead of that top of the lung, short, shallow breaths, we start to actually allow our shoulders to drop and our body slows down and we start to take real breaths. It feels good. Our body slows down without like all of this massive effort, when we are in that high beta brain state, that fight or flight, the majority of the time. And you might be saying, well, I'm not in fight or flight the majority of the time, but if you have to be perfect, if you have to compare yourself, if you have to overthink everything, I will challenge that. You are in fight or flight all the time because something inside of you is saying there is danger. I'm not good enough. I better, overthink my way out of this. I better stop myself. I better not take this step. I better not show anybody who I really am, because then they're not going to like me. Everything I put out there has to be perfect. Everything I do has to be thoughtfully prepared. What if you were just a mess one day? Because when your perception changes, your identity begins to reorganize. We do not have to be perfect. We are not here to be perfect. We are here for the evolution of our souls. We are here to understand more of who we are and more of who we're not. And that's deeper than any strategy that you can, try for your business or for your life. You can understand what your patterns are. You can see what you believe. You can even decide to think differently, right? But if your body is anxious, constantly in stress mode, if you're overstimulated, if you're picking up your phone and immediately comparing, I'm better than her, oh, she's better than me, like, ugh. You're always going to default back to that old identity. And that's not because you're not practicing having a good mindset, right? It's physiology. And that's where nature comes in. Nature is really a regulation. It brings you back to reality. So ocean therapy shows me how quickly our nervous system can recalibrate, around a beautiful, calm, high frequency environment. You get the ocean wave hertz, and you can get that. You can go on to Spotify and look up Sleepy Ocean, and you can just get that. So if you're like, well, I've never been to the ocean, or like, oh, great, Jane, I can't just hop over to the ocean whenever I want. Throw on Sleepy Ocean. Put yourself in a salt bath. Put yourself in a salt bath, throw on Sleepy Ocean, and be at the ocean. And forest therapy really shows us how our attention can broaden, when we see like the expansiveness and the truth of our world, and we can allow ourselves some curiosity. We can focus our attention in the present moment. And I am totally guilty of when I'm hiking, I'll be, oh my God, and I will stop, in a second to look at some moss on a tree or to see how a mushroom is growing or, oh my gosh, look at how these two leaves are lining up and what a juxtaposition. Like I will literally, bam, stop in my tracks to be present, to see duality, to see growth, to see how colors look against each other. And wow, I never really thought of how green really pops on top, right? So again, our body feels allowed to be something different, to be the truth of who we are instead of that constant rat race. And again, when your body is allowed to slow down, your perception of everything begins to change. We are so much more than this. We are living inside of an illusion where we have to prove ourselves all the time. I don't care if you have a business or not. And it's exhausting. It's physically and mentally exhausting. Do you agree? And, it's no wonder I've burned out time and time again in my business and in life. It's no wonder. No wonder I was 99% blocked in my widowmaker artery. No wonder. No wonder. And I want to bring up the idea of the consequence of these fears. Because when we stay in fear, this is when consequences show up. Massive anxiety, massive perfectionism, massive overthinking, massive doubt, massive worry all the time. Something's going to go bad. I got to worry about this. Worry, 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 worry. We expect the worst and then we get the worst. And we forget about filling up our own cups, don't we? Right? We're putting everybody else first. We forget to play. We used to play. Remember playing? Playing was fun. We forget to find joy in ordinary moments because we are never living in the present moment. We're always outside of ourselves. And we forget to breathe in what is real and what is steady and what is expansive. And we leave ourselves behind in this pursuit of hustle and fitting in and going viral and competing, even if we're just competing against ourselves. It's exhausting. It's a full distortion of what is actually real. We're living inside of this illusion. And so I show up here every Monday morning and I show up here in an attempt to disrupt this illusion. And so if there's anything that I want you to take with you today, is that I would love for you to step out of the illusion. I would love for you to step out of perfectionism and show the world who you really are, all your faults, you know, all your warts, how your body looks, you know, the reality of who you are, instead of trying to make yourself look a certain way. Step out of the illusion. And that's what I am inviting you to do today. So I want to just take a minute to talk about my podcast partners, because not only are they partners of mine, but they're also all in my mastermind. And I get to work with these amazing women week after week. And I get to understand not only who they are, but what their businesses mean to them. And so it's really personal for me. So, first podcast partner is Tendril and Thistle. And Michelle is just, she's just an amazingly caring person. I love her so much. And she created Tendril and Thistle because of how much this way of being helped her in her own life. So Tendril and Thistle invites you to slow down. That's what I'm talking about today. Slow her down just for a moment and reconnect with yourself. Each self-care invitation is a small act of restoration crafted with comforting, handcrafted, pure essential oil blends. They're absolutely beautiful. They smell so good. And she uses naturally derived ingredients to meet you right where you are. So whether you're beginning your day, if you're actually taking a minute to just actually take a deep breath, tending to your body, getting into that, salt bath, like I said, unwinding into rest, these simple mindful moments remind you that care does not need to be elaborate to be meaningful. So if you use the code MindBody10 at this link, it's tendrilandthistle.com/pages/the-invitations, code MindBody10. You'll get 10% off just for being a listener of the Mind Body Business Podcast. And next is the Little Sparrow Collective. It's an online home for art lovers and creative souls. A curated group of independent artists offering original art, handmade jewelry, creative kits, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. I personally know every single artist in the collective. They're all amazing human beings. They all love to create and share their creation and their kits with you. So if you love supporting real artists, discovering pieces with personality, and bringing a little bit more creativity into your everyday life, Little Sparrow is for you. And again, as a thank you for listeners of the Mind Body Business Podcast, if you use code MindBody10, you will get a 10% discount. So here is the Little Sparrow link, and then I'm just going to put code MindBody10 because you can use that code at Tendril and Thistle or at Little Sparrow. I also want to mention Royce Cycled. I am so just grateful to be partnering with Royce at her creative retreat this April. I think it's April 23rd, and I don't have that link in front of me. I don't even know if this is the link Royce wants me to use, but I'm really excited to be there. So I'm going to get the proper link from Royce, and I will make sure that is not only in the comments here on Facebook, but it will be in the show notes on Apple and Spotify, and in the description on YouTube. And thank you so much for being here today. I truly trust that you understood the message here and that you understand that everything that we put ourselves into on a daily basis is illusion. A daily basis, in the hustle, in the comparing, in the overthinking, in the perfectionism. And I invite you to step out of that. Step out of that, at least for a little while, even if it's like once a day. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. And I will not see you next week. I will be on a plane to Inlet Beach, Florida, where I am holding a retreat for my next level members. So I will see you in 2 weeks.